fast run. Let's go back to Amy Wilson at the Will Rogers Coliseum.
It was the fastest time of the day, a 14.65, and it was ran by 15-year-old Jada Trosper, and she joins me now. Great run, Jada.
Thank you very much.
So the horse you're running is pretty new to you. Only about 6 months ago did you get this horse. Tell me all about him.
So he's actually all cowbred. He's about 13'3", standing up straight, and he looks like a little underdog, but he just opens up in the pattern and gives it all for me, so I love him.
How did you know he was the horse that you could depend on to make runs like this and give you these opportunities?
Yes, ma'am. So I believe firmly in bonds and connections. So when we saw him, there was just something that you could see in him, and that just stuck with me. And I was like, all right, God, I trust in your plan for me. So that's how I knew.
He's 7 years old, and his name is Seven. That has to be lucky.
Yes, ma'am. I believe it. 777. Lucky numbers.
Explain how this event has worked for you here at the Women's Rodeo World Championship, the runs you've already made, and what you're getting ready to do and hopeful to be able to do.
Yes, ma'am. Well, our first run, we hit a barrel, our first ever barrel to hit together. But he came back today, and I just blind first barrel in a long alley, and I just knew what I had to do, so I did everything I could, and I mean, he just hustled his heart out for me, and I hope that it's enough to come to the AT&T Stadium and be able to compete with the pros. That's a dream come true.
Your run was recently posted on the WCRA Facebook page, so anyone who wants to check it out, it's amazing. Take us through it and what it was like.
Wow, so that long alley, you know, it's a moment of thought, and I prayed as I went, and I was just like, okay, Lord, I trust in your plan for me and my horse, and we got there, and I heard the announcer, and my heart started racing, and I could feel his little heartbeat. We took off, and I was like, all right, this is it. So we just pushed him all the way through. I blew off the backside of the first a little bit and hustled him over to the second. Then he came to the third, and I mean, he was just flying. And as I was coming home, I was like, come on, Seth. And then I looked up, and I was blown away.
Well, I know at 15 years old, your parents are a huge part of your success. Talk about what your mom does and your dad does to help this team be so successful.
Oh, wow. I mean, I could sit here and talk for days about what they do. Not just them, but my whole family. I mean, they sacrificed everything for both my sister and I, and our rodeo friends and family, and our horseshoer. I mean, he came in at 6 a.m. to tack on a shoe for me because he had pulled it, and just to everyone in my hometown that supports me and our family away. I mean, they do everything they can for us.
Speaking of your hometown, it's not very far from here at all, is it?
No, ma'am, about an hour and a half away.
So you're from Ponder, Texas, and also in high school, of course.
Yes,
so running at high school rodeos. Outside of rodeo, what are you involved in?
So I'm a varsity cheerleader, and I cheer on our hometown team at football games, basketball games, and anything and everything. And outside of that, I'm also a big member in our FFA program, and I'm very involved. And then I'm also a student council member and a varsity track and cross-country athlete.
You mentioned getting to run at AT&T Stadium during the PBR World Finals and how amazing that would be. Describe the feeling after you make a run like you just did today, and then the anticipation of having an opportunity like that.
I probably would just pass out if I found out I got to make it. I came out crying as soon as I heard the time, and I was just so thankful for it all. And being able to come there and compete at one of the biggest stadiums in Texas with the toughest competition, run for that amount of money, I'd be so thankful and happy. I mean, it's a dream come true.
Well, you are well on your way. Big congratulations on the run you made today.
Thank you very much.
Jada Trosper here running the fastest time at the Women's Rodeo World Championship, 14.65. That was only 0.05 of a second behind Randy Prindle, who you'll remember did so